how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the series Mad About Python, and this is the third video in the series. In case you have missed the previous two videos, I have left the link in my description. Make sure you check those videos first and then come back to this video. Since this will be a continuation to that video, in the previous video we have seen how to use the plt.plot method to plot the line plots using the Stackoverflow annual developer survey data. And in this video, as promised, we'll be checking out how to use the same data and plot them in form of bar plots. And the bar plots are of two types, horizontal bar plot and vertical bar plot. So we'll be using the data taken from this website, and using that we'll be plotting them in form of bar plots. Now, just to summarize what happened in the previous video is, we have seen any Matplotlib program will have your axes. So you'll have the x-axis and the y-axis, and that will have the data sets. Now that data set can be of CSV format taken from Panda dataset or from Numpy matrix. And you have seen how to add the x and y labels to your plot, even giving the title to the plot. Also, we have seen how to add the legend, how to add a grid to the plot, and how to add the different type of styles in Matplotlib. Now what happens when we use the plt.plot method is, it takes the data from the x-axis and the y-axis here, which are the two variables declared here having the data sets, and then it tries to plot in form of a line plot. Now to use the bar plot, it's very simple. You have to use the plt.bar method. Now the thing is, I need to show only one data for this video now, and for that I'll be commenting out the rest of the data. So by using this, I just completely ignored the other two variables of the y-axis. Let me just use this x-axis, which is age, and the salary of the developer as the y-axis, and then use the plt.bar method to plot it as a bar plot. Now let me show you. When I run this program, all the data remains the same, but this time, as you can see here, it will be in form of a bar plot. Now if you still want to keep the line plots and show the bar plot as well, you can add the color scheme here. Since the bar plot was in blue color, let me change this to something like yellow, and then let me run this program again. Now only the Python dev value will be in yellow bar plot, and the other two values remain in the line plot, because we have not changed the plt.plot method for the other two values. Only the Python value is in form of bar plot. So this is the output we get. Sometimes you require the bar plot as well as the line plot. In that case, this can be done. Now you'll have doubt if I've done the plt.bar method for the first value. Now if I simply change the other two values to .bar as well, now this will arise a problem known as stacking up. Now what will happen is, it is going to stack up the values on top of each other, because the program doesn't recognize the width or how much gap should be left between the two consecutive bar plots. Now to fix this problem, we will be using something known as Numpy. And I hope you guys know about the Numpy package for Python. It is really useful, and it is used to do some matrix calculations and higher level mathematical operations. So I hope you know how to install the Numpy. Let me just show you. You can go to this terminal. Let me just clear this. And to install Numpy, you have to use the pip installer. So pip install Numpy. Now this is going to show me requirement already satisfied, because Numpy is already installed. In case you have not installed, it is going to install it for you. So once you're done with the installation, you can simply use the import function. So import Numpy as np. Great. So after that, you have to use the same style. You don't have to change the style. And then for this method, even I have referred few videos on YouTube. Now this is the best method, or I would say a hack I found by browsing several videos. This is known as the index range. Now what this index range is going to do is, it is going to arrange all the x-axis values. First it's gonna count the x-axis value and then arrange it. It is just like iterating through a list or counting the elements in the list. So let me just use something like index range as the variable, and then I'm going to use the numpy module, so np, and there's a function known as arrange, and inside this I need the length of the x values. In our case it is nothing but axis age x, and that is it. So once you have the index range, you can change these values. Instead of axis x, I'm going to change it to index range. Same way for the other two values. It's going to be index range, and here as well, index range. So now you can see here all the three values are having the index range in the program. Now what we have to do is give the width value. Now width value you can give by assigning some variable like this, and this value I would suggest best value ranges between 0.25 to 0.30. So let me just give 0.30, that's fine. And while you come to this value, now here the trick is, or I would say the hack is, now the index range of the second value is stacked up on the first value as you have seen in the output. So what you have to do is shift that down. So for the first value you can just subtract it by using the width, and you can do the exact same for the last value by adding it. So plus width, something like this, and the middle value remains the same. Now you will have three bar plots next to each other. Now this is a side-by-side method. Now what else is missing here is you have to add the width parameter. So the width, we have named it width again. So I'm just gonna copy this and paste it to the other two values, give a comma and paste it. For everything the width remains the same. Great. Okay, so let me just tell you what we have done here again. We have given the width parameter an additional parameter which will allow your bar plots to be represented in side-by-side format. Before it was stacked on top of each other. To solve that issue we have used numpy. Now what arrange is doing is using the numpy and taking the length of the x-axis and sort of arranging it. Now using that index we are subtracting the value of width we have given here, and what it will do is it will sort of bring down your stacked up bar next to the first value, and same way we have added the width here such that it is shifted one more time, and middle will have some value, so we have not added anything to this range. Now let me just run this and show you how it looks. Okay, so we have error here, axis range x. Okay, so what, oh sorry, you have to add it after the x value. So let me take these values and paste it after the x value, and there you go, we have our plots. You have seen these plots, I mean these bar plots stacked up on top of each other, and right now they are having some distance. I mean the width is less, but as you can see these bar plots are stacked next to each other. So this is the side-by-side method. So let's change the width actually. Let's try 0.20 and run it again. And this is yeah, this is much better actually. You have a little more distance here. So this is more readable, I would say. You give the width parameter to your bar plots to make it not stack on top of each other, but represented better side by side. Okay, so we have seen the output. Now I think we have too many values here. So let me just reduce the values here like this. For them, I think let's keep only 5 values for now. So I have removed all the values. Now right now we have only 5 values, just to show you how this plot would look if we have less number of values. Now as you can see, using only the 5 values in x-axis and only using 5 values for the y-axis, this bar plot would look something like this. And if you have more values, you have already seen the output. Okay, so let me just summarize what happened in this video. We have seen the line plots in the previous video, which will go something like this. So we have seen the different line plots going on in the graph. In this video, we use the Numpy module. So using the Numpy module, we were able to use the index range variable. Now what this index range does is, it takes the Numpy and uses the method called arrange. Now this arrange will set a value taking the length of the axis x in this case. So our variable was axis x. So it will take the length of this variable and set an index range. So what this numpy module does is, it will set the index range that how many values are present in the x-axis, something like this. And then we have given a separate variable known as width. Now this width value ranges from 0.20 and up to 0.30. Okay, so how did we get from this to this? Because what happened is, when we use the plt dot bar method, and inside that we assign the value as axis x and the axis y, the problem happened is, it sort of got stacked on top of each other. So the plot values got stacked on top of each other, something like this. But this is not the correct way of representing the data. We wanted to represent the values separately, like this will be one plot, this will be the second plot, and this will be the third plot. And according to that, we have assigned the value of x and y axis. So how did we reach from here to here? For that, we used exactly the same thing, which is the numpy index range. So what we did instead of using this bar plot like this, we have used the plt dot bar, and inside the first value, the index range, here we have used as the x variable. The index range was subtracted by the width, such that the plot which was stacked on top of the first plot was shifted down. So we are going minus. And the second plot, which was again stacked on top of that, by giving it plus width, so going +1, we were able to shift that down here, and this one was coming down this side. So that is how we got the three different plot styles. So 1, 2, and 3 right here. So what we did is subtract the first one with the width, then again plt dot bar, and going to the index range here, keeping this as same, and the third one plt dot bar, and changing this index range and adding that width. So as simple as that. So using the three different styles, we were able to shift that side by side. So this was the side by side method of plotting the bar plots. So the only change made to the programs were in this three lines. So where we were plotting the three bar plots having three different values. First one was for the Python, the second was for the Kotlin, and the last one was for the JavaScript. So for the three values, we are using the plt dot bar, which stands for bar plot, and inside the first index range, we are subtracting with the width. The middle one is the same, and the last one we are adding the width. Now what will happen at the end is, this plot will become something like this. If these values are taken approximately like this, you'll get the plots like this. This is the side by side method of plotting the bar plots. And at the end, we have added the parameter known as width, and the width is having the same variable we have assigned in the beginning. So that is width. So we have used the width parameter at the end of the program, and the other parameters like the color and the labels remains the same. Alright, so that was a wrap for this video now, and I'll catch you in the next one.